The superhero series One Punch Man has a number of characters with intriguing design choices and personalities. The bland and laid-back nature of the protagonist, Saitama, provides a stark contrast for these characters, making them really pop in front of the audience. One such character is Blast, who's touted to be the strongest hero in the world. We, of course, as the viewers, know this is far from the truth, but the series does a stellar job to hype and build our anticipation regarding him by name-dropping him occasionally as this uber-mysterious and powerful hero. As this series progressed over time, we have come across increasingly powerful heroes and monsters. Blast is one of these individuals, and he serves as an example regarding the pinnacle that a human can achieve outside of an anomaly like Saitama. In today's marvelous video, we'll be talking about all there is to know about this person who sits atop the hero world. From his powers, feats of strength, appearance, and personality to his more humane side, we'll leave no stone unturned. Our goal is not just to introduce you to Blast as a character, but to pique your interest regarding the series as a whole. One Punch Man is the creation of a Japanese mangaka who goes by the pseudonym One or Tomohiro. Initially, what started out as a webcomic was soon adapted into a manga, with the series having sold over 30 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling mangas of all time. An anime adaptation would soon follow, catapulting the popularity of this franchise to even greater heights. With a new season set to drop soon later this year, we thought now is as good a time as any to get you hyped and introduce you to the series' most iconic and well-loved characters. So, get your game face on and make sure to stick that superhero landing with us as we drop into this world of heroes and monsters where all it takes is just one punch. What does Blast look like? When the audience is introduced to Blast, he's already a middle-aged man. His very appearance exudes an aura of confidence and power. Decked in a suit of heavy high-tech armor and a cape, Blast has the appearance of an action figure that's come to life. The armor is predominantly white in color with black, purple, red, and yellow accents. There's a circular emblem on his chest and the back of his shoes with his name emblazoned on it. The gloves of his suit have circles on them, and when he puts his fists against each other, they transform into an infinity sign. This is an important part of his kit, as doing so allows him the ability to use teleportation. Overall, his appearance is that of a rugged veteran who's seen a lot of action. There's a large scar that runs across his face in between his eyes. Outside of that, his armor seems to have done its job, as it similarly shows signs of damage and wear due to the number of arduous battles he's fought over the years. His iconic spiked hair, flared eyebrows, goatee, and shades give him a very dashing look. One of the things that really stands out about Blast, perhaps due to him covering his eyes with his sunglasses most of the time, is the color of his eyes, which are lemon yellow in color with a black border around the irises. In one of Tatsumaki's visions, Blast looks visibly younger with no scars on his face or damage to his armor. He also doesn't have his iconic pair of shades. Blast's appearance exudes an aura of leadership and awe, justifying his position as the #1 ranked S-Class hero. What is the personality of the strongest S-Class hero? As we just mentioned, Blast exudes an awe-inspiring aura which has garnered him the respect of his peers despite his absence for prolonged periods. Despite some of the Hero Association's staff expressing frustration regarding his absence, Blast seems to know everything that is ongoing within the organization. This astuteness of his is displayed when, upon meeting Flash for the first time, not only does he know the speedster's name, but also his rank. Blast also remembers Bang's hero, Alias, and greets the veteran with respect. During his meeting with Saitama and Flash, he asks the two heroes to pass on his greetings to Sitch and Tatsumaki, showing us that he has a caring side to him as well. For a hero of such immense power that has gone toe-to-toe with the likes of God himself and the Elder Centipede, Blast displays a disarmingly laid-back attitude. Having seen some of the worst horrors that the vast universe has in store, Blast displays a strong mental resilience by not letting these things alter his perspective on the people and things that he truly cares about. There are many stories across myth and legend of heroes who venture too far into the void to keep the darkness at bay, but eventually despair at the horrors they witness and are corrupted by them. It really speaks to the fortitude of the man when he's able to maintain a light heart despite carrying such a heavy burden. Another example of his relaxed nature is when he doesn't even bat an eyelid regarding Saitama's presence with an S-class hero. The only time he shows some concern is when he notices Monaco's monstrous nature, but quickly simmers down without any further questions after learning about the situation from Saitama and Flashy Flash. Out of all the character traits that define Blast's personality, his kind heart stands out the most. At the risk of people misunderstanding him for his seeming lack of activity within the Hero Association and absence from Earth, none are more concerned about the planet than he. This was evident when he temporarily put a hold on his secret mission to prevent the Earth from being destroyed during Garo and Saitama's clash. This neatly brings us to his powers and abilities, which we'll be discussing next. How strong is the strongest hero? Blast is considered by many to be the strongest hero in the universe, right alongside King. He's been described as the one who sits atop the hero world. Many people believe he's the only one who even has a shot of defeating God, who's a mysterious being of infinite power. According to Sitch, the reason why Blast is the only person who's able to do so is because of his ability to manipulate time and space as God operates from beyond another dimension. He seems to have gathered an equally mysterious group of individuals as his partners who share similar mastery over these two factors in his secret war against God. We also know that Blast was capable of not only defeating the Elder Centipede, but critically injuring him to the point that this gargantuan monster almost died. Even though some speculate that the Elder Centipede was nowhere near the same level as the version that fought Saitama, Gyoro, the meat puppet of Psychos, believed that the results would not have changed if Blast faced him again. Another testament to his great powers was his involvement in Garo and Saitama's fight. While it might have seemed to some like he was a mere sideshow to the whole fight, we have a very different view. It's our belief that Blast didn't even show half of what he was truly capable of because he understood that neither of the fighters was truly evil at heart. Therefore, he was more focused on safeguarding the Earth from becoming collateral damage due to their clash. The very fact that he was able to keep up with the strongest version of both Saitama and Garo while focusing on saving a planet at the same time is kind of mind-blowing. If Blast had decided to get serious and made that fight a three-way affair in order to put down both Saitama and Garo by force, the results would have been beyond cataclysmic. We saw how Saitama and Garo's combined power created a void in space by destroying multiple star systems. Therefore, one doesn't need to imagine what the state of the universe would have been if Blast had gotten seriously involved as well. You can see why this puts him in a class of his own when it comes to heroes. We can safely argue that if he were ever to be pitted against his fellow S-class heroes, Blast would easily wipe the floor with them, even if he were to be attacked simultaneously. What are the powers that make Blast a hero that can challenge God himself? We just discussed some of the feats that Blast displayed to highlight how truly strong he is compared to the rest. So now let's talk about the powers and abilities that have allowed him to garner the reputation of being the strongest of the strong and achieve those feats. Superhuman speed and agility. Despite being extremely well-built and wearing heavy armor, Blast is capable of displaying incredible speed and agility that belies his size. Flashy Flash, a top-ranked hero with incredible superhuman speed, would find this out the first time during his brief encounter with the world's strongest hero. Blast was easily able to dodge Flash's high-speed kicks at extremely close range. What was astonishing was not just Blast's ability to dodge the kicks thrown at him, but the effortless nature with which he did so. He was also able to easily outpace Flash and appear behind him faster than the 10th ranked hero could even perceive. Blast also displays incredible speed and agility during the Garo and Saitama fight, being able to keep up with the duo who were probably moving faster than any hero or villain has to date. We all know that Garo and Saitama both stand at the pinnacle of what a human being can achieve, and Blast's holding his ground in a clash of these two titans shows what a monster he truly is. He was also able to defeat his former ally, Empty Void, the founder of a ninja village who was also regarded as the deadliest assassin in the world. After Void went rogue by giving in to the temptation offered by God through one of his mysterious cubes, the two former allies clashed in an epic duel, but Blast still came out on top. If there's one thing we know about ninjas in any series, it's that they're extremely agile and speedy fighters, and for Blast to pulverize the strongest ninja ever means he just had better speed and agility than Void. We ought not to forget that Void was already the strongest ninja prior to becoming even more enhanced after receiving his powers from God. Therefore, it really only goes to highlight the superhuman speed and agility of Blast. Supreme strength and durability. Being fast and agile is one thing, but being all of those things plus strong is just a cheat code. While his speed and agility might come as a surprise, One look at Blast and you instantly know that this man is very physically strong. This is only affirmed when it's revealed how heavy those mysterious orbs really are. When Flashy Flash tries to pick up the cube, it literally pins the hero's arms to the floor, and when thrown by Saitama, it sinks into the ground due to its weight. Blast, in comparison, is not only able to carry the cube, but is also seen twirling it on his fingers playfully. During his encounter with Gato, who is enhanced, he's seen being able to block and land blows on the hero hunter who had been juiced up by God's powers. He was also able to defeat Elder Centipede and beat it to an inch of its life. None of these things would have been possible if Blast hadn't possessed extraordinary strength, even for a hero. It's easy to forget that Blast is a human due to his extraordinary powers and abilities, along with his mysterious nature. No matter how powerful and strong he is, Blast has the same limitations that any human has. Despite this, he shows incredible durability and resilience towards things that would crumble ordinary people. Due to the nature of his quest, Blast has to spend a lot of time in outer space and in hazardous conditions. His propensity for being able to tank such conditions is highlighted when he survives the radiation emitted by Gato without any visible harm. This radiation easily weakens, if not outright kills, numerous heroes, but Blast is unfazed by it. Not to mention, the cosmic radiations and the extreme temperatures of space don't seem to have any effect on him. He hardly shows any distress in those hazardous conditions, which would prove fatal for most heroes. Portal creation. Having spoken about Blast's physical attributes, let's move on to some real superhero powers that he possesses. One of the ways in which his ability to control space and time translates is by being able to create portals. He activates these portals by bringing his hands together and completing the infinity symbol on his gloves. Blast can create portals of varying sizes according to the needs of the hour. With the help of the portal, he's able to traverse vast distances almost instantaneously. There's no known limit to how many portals he can create in this manner. This is the ability that he uses to teleport both Saitama and Gato before their fists collide. One can truly see his mastery of this ability in combat, where he's created a unique fighting style based on his power. Not only is he able to redirect his opponent's attacks, but he's also able to retaliate in the same manner by striking his opponents from unexpected angles. He also uses the ability to transport his opponents and himself according to what the situation requires during their fight. The most overpowered use of this power is Blast's ability to trap his opponents in other dimensions, since, his portals can traverse dimensions. Gravity manipulation. Blast is able to manipulate gravity freely and uses this ability to perform a number of tasks. Thanks to being able to control gravity, Blast is able to fly at tremendous speed and escape Earth's gravity, allowing him to operate in space. He can also fire singularities at his opponents by clasping his fists together. This ability is called Dimension Cannon. He can also drastically increase the speed and power of his punches by first making them light, increasing their momentum, and then making them heavy at the point of impact. This technique, which he calls Gravity Knuckles, exponentially raises the destructive power of his fists, allowing him to knock about the likes of awakened cosmic mode Gato. Even his portal creation ability, more specifically the ability to close them, is directly tied to his gravity manipulation. Using the power of gravity, he's able to squeeze the portal shut, which brings us neatly to our next topic of discussion. What is Blast's secret mission? We mentioned earlier how Blast's portal allows him access to different dimensions, meaning he probably has seen things that no other human has ever laid eyes upon. We believe that it was during one of these sojourns he must have encountered the mysterious entity simply known as God. God is a seemingly divine, extra-dimensional being that has influenced sentient societies for eons from the shadows. For some reason, this powerful entity seems to harbor a grudge towards humanity and wishes to scour them from the face of the earth. This could possibly have to do something with him being trapped in another dimension, preventing him from accessing the material realm directly. Blast is said to have come into direct conflict with this entity and seems to have earned its acknowledgement regarding his strength and tenacity. God is a manipulative and malevolent being who tempts beings with promises of power in exchange for their servitude. He particularly targets beings who are already evil or at the lowest point in their lives, making them vulnerable to his meddling. One of the ways in which God contacts creatures is through these mysterious black cubes. If one comes into contact with the cube, they can speak directly with God and listen to his offers, and if they accept, they're granted power beyond their wildest dreams. This makes these objects extremely dangerous, lest they fall into vulnerable or greedy hands. Blast and his group have a twofold objective. One is to make sure that the cubes don't fall into people's hands, and the other is to study the object in the hopes of being able to discern more about God himself, to learn about his nature and weaknesses. This is what keeps him away from Hero's work on Earth, and despite some believing that he's a lone wolf who works independently, he's silently working with a group of individuals to understand and defeat the biggest threat to humanity. He performs this tedious, dangerous, and thankless job in complete secret without looking for a paycheck or fame. Now, with the recent increase in God's activity following the events with Gado, Blast's mission is even more critical than normal. As the last line of humanity's defense, it's time for Blast to truly show why he's indeed the man who sits atop the hero world. Is Blast married, and does he have a family? Moving away from his exploits and missions, let's now talk about Blast the man and not the hero. It's true that Blast was indeed married to someone. His wife's name was Selenian Luna, a kunoichi or female ninja from the ninja village, the same village that his former partner, Empty Void, had founded. In fact, Luna was Void's younger sister who was extremely loyal to her brother and the village, going so far as to marry Blast simply because she was ordered to do so. At the time, Void was interested in investigating the Agony Foundation, the group responsible for the formation of the Hero Association, and a secret genius scientist working with Blast. He claimed that he wanted the intel for the benefit of the village, after which Selenian Luna married Blast in order to infiltrate his life. However, it is hinted that due to their similarly perceptive nature, she actually began to develop feelings for her target. The two would go on to have a son called Blue, who would himself become the top hero of the fledgling Neo Heroes organization. Blast would lose his wife not long after when she was killed in a battle against a minion of God. Due to Void being so close to finding out Blast's secret, the timing of his sister's death leads him to believe that the #1 hero had something to do with it. However, upon witnessing Blast's genuine grief, Void understands that his sister was truly loved by his friend. Ever since his wife's death and the discovery of the cubes, perhaps to forget his grief, Blast began to dedicate his life to his secret mission even more. How is Blast related to Tatsumaki? The relationship that Tatsumaki shares with Blast is one of endearment. Blast had saved Tatsumaki as a young girl from a rampaging experimental hybrid monster. When he questions why Tatsumaki was not using her powers to defend herself, the young Esper replies that her powers weren't working. After realizing that she had been lying and figuring out that Tatsumaki had a younger sister, Blast encourages her not to depend on others to save her. He tells her to grow stronger and rely on herself to save her and her sister. This, however, is misunderstood by Tatsumaki, and she becomes incredibly self-reliant to the point that she develops a clear disdain for help from others. Tatsumaki holds Blast in great reverence for not just saving her, but also for being a mentor and father figure of sorts. Blast, in return, is fond of the young Esper and even tells Saitama and Flashy Flash to pass on his regards to her. The series has yet to explore their bond further, but it's clear that the two are akin to family, even if they're not related by blood. Marvelous verdict! Ever since his name was dropped for the first time in front of audiences, Blast has been one of the characters fans have been most psyched to be introduced to. The series has been building a steady hype for this mysterious character, and it didn't disappoint when he finally made his appearance. The trope of this strong warrior who's never around isn't uncommon in anime. We've seen it with Gildarts in Fairy Tail, Shanks in One Piece, and Seijuro Hiko in Rurouni Kenshin, just to name a few. Blast easily joins the ranks of these legendary characters with his awe-inspiring design and personality. We hope that the series will give us some more badass moments with him in the future, where we'll get to see the full scope of his powers. Even though the series has an overpowered protagonist, it does a great job of giving us characters like Blast who still manage to intrigue the audience. Overall, despite his immense power and abilities, Blast is still a very grounded character who has dealt with losses like any ordinary person with a family. Blast, as a character, is a lesson on how to write an ultra-powerful yet mysterious character right. We hope that this video managed to increase your knowledge about Blast and the series as a whole. If you liked this video, be sure to check out the rest of our channel. We provide lore videos, character analyses, and the breakdown of your favorite shows and characters. So be sure to check those out. Thanks for sticking with us right to the end of this video, and we hope to catch you in the next one. Until then, stay safe and stay marvelous.